Yay. Okay. Welcome to the weekly team call. I'm really excited to have Olivia on today. I was talking to Haley a couple weeks ago and I was like, dude, who's like one of your rock stars? And immediately she's like, oh my God, Olivia. She got diamond in like 21 days. She totally got this business and she's been successful at 20, like since she first started, which means she's helping a shit ton of people and she's not slowing down. So I was really excited to hear from her because I always love to hear about momentum and how people keep it up and how they keep up that energy, like, you know, what systems or whatever she uses or, you know, it's kind of like magical. So I can't wait to hear what she has to say. I'm just going to hand it right over to her since we're on a schedule of like 35, 40 minutes right now. So yay. Go ahead.
Yay. Thank you, Candace. So I kind of don't know where to start. I guess I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I've actually been into fitness for like 4 years now. I've competed in 3 bodybuilding shows. I'm a certified personal trainer, certified nutritionist. So fitness has kind of been like my life and my passion since I was 16. And I've always known since I got into it that I wanted to help people. But until I found Beachbody and coaching, I didn't really know what avenue I wanted to take to do so. I've worked in gyms in the past, didn't love it, mainly because you have kind of like an income cap. There's only so much there. Your income is set by the gym, and more often than not, the gym gets more money from the sessions than the actual trainer does. So you're putting in all the work and not getting a lot in return. So I kind of dabbled in jobs. I was in school for 2 years. At first I was going to major in kinesiology. Didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I thought that's how I could be a personal trainer. And then I got certified and I was like, okay, there goes that idea. And then I thought I would do physical education because I love kids and I'm passionate about fitness. So I was like, oh, I'll combine the two. But turns out school just is not for me. So I dropped out twice actually. And since then, it's kind of been a roller coaster of like finding what it is I'm passionate about, what I want to do with my life. I felt really lost when I dropped out. I worked a bunch of kind of dead-end jobs. I worked in a supplement store making $8.50 or $9 an hour, and I was like killing myself working 40 hours a week there. I waitressed for $2.33 an hour plus tips. What else have I done? I nannied 45 plus hours a week. Like everything you could think of. I was front desk at a pizza place, like random shit. And then so Haley's my coach. And I'd actually been keeping up with her life for about a year. We were in a group on Facebook called I Don't Want to Be a Tree. And it was just a free group created by a fellow woman on Instagram. And I remember Haley would post like a couple times a week in there. And I was like, man, this girl looks so happy. She's loving life. She's working from home. She's changing lives. Whatever she did was health and fitness. And I was like, dang, like that needs to be me. I want that. But I stood on the sidelines for an entire year. Just kind of taking in what she wanted, but never taking action and like saying anything to her because I was scared. I didn't want to change from where I was, but like clearly where I wasn't working. So I'm a military wife and we just recently, so our life kind of shifted from Wisconsin to Florida back in December. And we actually just moved to Texas last week. So it's a lot of moving, a lot of change, and being like not having a college degree, you're kind of like out of luck in the corporate world or the real world, whatever you want to call it. And when we moved down to Florida initially, I had a lot of anxiety attacks, a lot of meltdowns about having to start over every time we move, working minimum wage jobs, like $7, $8 an hour, being the new girl, maybe not even getting jobs because they know I'm temporary. So as soon as we got down to Florida, I was like, I need to find something. I need something that I can take with me. I need something that can be mine and that can give me some stability amongst a lot of change that's going to happen in my life over the next like 8 to 10 years. So I found a nannying job. I knew that would be kind of temporary, but they were a military family too. So they understood it and they were like, I want to help out. I like to help military spouses. So they gave me a job. During this time though, I was still looking for work from home jobs. There was like freelance writing jobs that I'd found online. Then they turned out to be scams. There was like a bunch of other network marketing companies, but none of them I clicked with because the people who worked for these companies just seemed phony and fake, and I didn't relate to them at all. I'm sure you guys have seen some things that you're just like, okay, unfollow, like your posts are annoying, like no. And I don't know what it was, but one day in March of this year, I was on my break at my nanny job, and I came across another of Haley's posts, something about like her working from home. I think the picture was her staring out the window on, like looking out into her backyard. Her dogs were out there, and she like had her hands crossed behind her back, and her head was kind of down. And her post said something about like, I dreamed of days like this where I could work from home and let my dogs out whenever I wanted to and be home when my husband was home. And I was just like, that's it. I am shooting this girl a message. Like, I am over this. So I sent Haley a message. I signed up to coach that day. And I came home and told my husband about it. And I was like so giddy. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make this work. Like, we're going to be rich. Like, my life is going to be just finally what I want it to be and what I've always envisioned for myself and my family. And since that day, I was just all in. Like literally tunnel vision. I am an all or nothing person. I'm trying to learn to not be that way, because there's some aspects of life that there is a little gray area. It's not just black or white. But for me with coaching, it was black or white. I was either, working this full time on top of my other full-time job, or I wasn't doing it at all. So I would go to work from like 6:30 to 4 or 5 at my nanny job, come home, get a workout in, and then I'd work on Beachbody stuff up until I went to bed. I would watch YouTube training videos. I would message people while I hung out with Tim. I was always doing something. I was never wasting time, because I was like, I only have, 2 or 3 hours at night to work on this. But if I really want this to be something big, I have to invest all of that 2 or 3 hours into this. I'd go to bed. There were some nights I couldn't sleep because I was like brainstorming things, what I wanted for my group, what I wanted for as a coach, things to add to my vision board. And I would just wake up the next morning ready to do it all over again. Eventually it got to a point where I was like, okay, this nanny job on top of coaching, it's kind of hindering what I feel like I could do with coaching. And I'm like, I want more time. My job was causing me a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. I would cry on my way to work in the morning because my days were so long. I was exhausted. My time was kind of taken advantage of. I didn't get to see Tim a lot. I was like not sleeping very well. My skin was horrible. I'm going to post a transformation of this, but my skin was horrible, probably from the lack of sleep, the stress, the anxiety that job was causing me. And I knew I had coaching, and I talked to Haley about it, and she was like, Liv, if you want to make this work, you will make it work. So if you like drop that job, you will make this work, and you will have something to replace that. So I ended up quitting my nanny job a month into coaching. April 4th was the exact day, and I signed up as a coach on March 9th. And since then, like, my business has exploded because I've been able to give all that energy that I was putting into my nanny job into coaching. And just like, it's so nice to be able to do something I love every single day and pour my passion into others and give my entire energy, my entire just mindset and love into people, rather than being kind of drained in on like 20% battery come 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. So once I went full time, again, still using all my time to invest into my business. I think I watch at least 1 or 2 YouTube videos a day from top coaches. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Sometimes I have a spin bike here, and sometimes I'll just hop onto it because I want to get my body moving a little bit after sitting all day, and I'll turn on Tony Robbins. I read personal development for at least an hour every morning. I know that's not doable for everybody, but I actually wake up with Tim every morning. I take the dog out. We got a dog now. Take the dog out. Then I sit on my porch with my coffee. I read, I journal. I write down my gratitudes. I write down my goals. And this has been a game changer for me. When I write down my goals, I write them as if they've already happened. So let's say I have a set income goal. I write that I'm already achieving that. Or I have a set business goal with Beachbody. I write that I'm already achieving that. We just got a puppy, and I used to write, we have a puppy or something like that. And it happened. So you need to make your mind believe that it's already yours. I forget which book this was from. It might have been The Universe Has Your Back, but you need to ask for something, believe you're going to receive it, and then you receive it. So my daily gratitudes that I have are basically like me asking for it, and then I start to believe it, and then I receive it. And then I will answer messages. I just started getting like a system down for tracking people. But before that, I would just like message a bunch of people, didn't really like keep track of it, probably lost quite a few people. But I was doing pen and paper for a while, but after a while it just got really messy, and I'm super type A and like things to be super organized and pretty. So I finally downloaded Asana, and that has helped so much. I know who I have to follow up with every day. I know who I need to go love on Facebook every day. I know new friends that I added. So as soon as someone's kind of in my pipeline or I'm talking to them, they go right in there. And that has helped me not just like feel organized, but mentally be like, okay, I've got a little bit of a system down. I'm not just all over the place. And a lot of my success has come from Instagram, probably 90% of it. Since I've been in fitness for about 4 years, I have been posting on social media since I started. And with my competing season, my following grew to about like probably 5,000. But since I started coaching and I was posting every single day, I'm approaching 9,000. And that consistency makes a huge difference. I've gotten a lot of challengers and coaches who reach out to me and they're like, Liv, I've been following you since you started this back in March. And like, it's been amazing to see your mindset change so quickly in such a short amount of time. Like, please tell me more about what you're doing. But I credit that to me showing up every single day. Yeah, it's really tough. And I'm like Candace, like, I swear you're like my girl sometimes. I read your posts and I'm super introverted. I don't like to be around people. I can only like talk to people for like 2 hours before I'm like battery drained, like need to be by myself for 24 hours. But on days where I like wake up and I literally just feel like blah, meh, I don't want to do this. Like life is just not happening right now. It's still got to happen. You still have to show up because people are only going to trust you when you show up every single day. Like, are you going to believe someone who only posts every 3 days or only posts when they feel on top of the world? No. You want someone who shares the struggles, who shares the crappy times. So even on those days when I feel really ugly or my skin had a breakout, right? Like I'm PMSing or got in a fight with Tim or something that's stressing me out, I still show up. Oftentimes I try to like talk about it because you're not the only one going through this. I am reading, what book? Oh, I just finished reading Light is the New Black. If you guys haven't read that yet, highly, highly recommend it. It talks about the fact that we all have a light inside of us and it needs to be shared. Sometimes you're going to wake up and you feel like your light is dimmed. You feel like you don't have a message to share. Your story's not going to be heard. But you still need to show up and share that message and be that light for somebody on the days that you really don't want to be, because there's someone who needs to hear that message. And even if you don't get like as much love on that message as you anticipated, the people who needed to hear that and whose hearts needed to be touched by it are going to hear it, and their hearts are going to be touched by it. But you need to show up and share that. So share every single part of your journey. I share like really crappy things. I talk about my struggles with eating disorders. I talk about my body dysmorphia that I've had since competing, prior to competing now, financial struggles, relationship struggles, everything. It's so scary to share that. So scary. I know. But that's where people are going to start to trust you. And that's where the loyalty gets built and the relationships get built, because not everybody is willing to share the things that scare them the most. People, social media oftentimes can be a highlight reel, especially in the fitness industry. When I was in my bodybuilding days, there's a lot of people who only post shredded ab pictures or, super lean pictures, are like, oh my God, I did my hour of cardio today and now I'm going to go eat tilapia all day. Like making it seem like life is perfect. That's awesome. But most of the real world, their life is not perfect. They all have like crap that they're dealing with. So people want to know that they're not alone in that crap. And your crap might feel, I guess, like you're the only one dealing with it, but I promise you're not. So share it. I talk a lot about my struggles with self-love and body image and body dysmorphia. And I get messages every single day of girls who are like, wow, Liv, like, thank you for sharing that. I cried reading your caption. It felt like you were talking right to me. And a lot of my challengers struggle with these same issues because that's what I talk about. That's kind of like my main focus. So I kind of, hold on, my brain like went a different direction. I guess find something of a part of your story that you know is going to leave a huge impact on people. For me, that's the self-love. A lot of women today struggle with self-love, but I get a little deeper into it. So you need to find that thing that you can go deeper into, something that like literally makes your heart want to burst out of your chest talking about, something that makes your heart want to burst out of your chest helping people fix that, I guess, and just like improve their life in that area. Another thing for me is mindset. I went through a lot of shit in my high school years, like 16 to probably now. My parents got divorced and my dad left. And when that happened, like I kind of fell into like bouts of, that's when my anxiety got really bad. I think that's when I started to struggle with depression. I was never diagnosed because I was too afraid to go to a doctor and I felt embarrassed. And I was like, you know, what 17-year-old am I to struggle with depression right now? Like, this is stupid. And so that's why I like obsessed myself with fitness. But wow, where was I going to go with that? Hold on. Let me backtrack a second. Okay.
You were talking about finding something within your story that leaves a huge impact on others and helps other people fix that thing.
Right. Okay. So my mindset, when all of that happened, I turned into like a very, very negative person. I thought the world was against me. I thought life would never be happy. I was like, I'm going to struggle working 3 jobs for the rest of my life. My family's going to be on welfare forever. I cried every single day. I slept maybe 3 or 4 hours every single night. And at this time, I was still in high school. My sister was 14 years old. My brother was just fresh in college. And I felt like my world was ending. Like, I just literally didn't see a way out. I felt like I was in a black hole, basically. And it continued that way up until this year when I started coaching. A lot of people who like met me at the gym, I would like walk in, they were like, you have this like sad look on your face. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I just personified negativity and sadness and basically emptiness up until this year when I started coaching. And when I dove headfirst into my personal development, it changed the game completely. Now I get messages on top of the self-love. People are like, how are you so positive? Like, your energy is freaking amazing. Like, how did you do this? And I feel like a weirdo when I'm like, I just read a book every day. But seriously, so I share that too. Like, I share where my mindset was and where it is now. Like a year ago, I shared something on Sunday about the fact that a year ago I would have been waitressing. I would have been miserable, sharing steak and margaritas, just complaining about people complaining about their lives or making huge messes and like just being pissy about life. And now I am happy all the time. Not all the time, because we all have our days, but like I've done a complete 180. When crappy things happen, I'm kind of like, I try to see, I guess, the light in it and the positive in it. My husband he got rear-ended a week after he got a new car. And I had just left to go home to Wisconsin, and he was texting me all these things, and I was like, oh my God. Like, he just got this brand new car, his dream car, and he got rear-ended by a lady who was uninsured, disappeared off the face of the planet, like refused to pay for it. And here I am, like old me would have been like, oh my God, that bitch, like, we got to get this chick. But I was like trying to sit there and be like, okay, take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. I never would have thought that way prior to this. So seeing that transformation myself, I'm like, oh my God, I have to share this with people. What else? So I guess like my point here is I share everything on social media, and that has been the biggest thing that's helped me with my success, because people see me as relatable. They see me as open and real, and raw, and positive. People are attracted to your energy. So if you want people who want what you want, you have to put that out there. if you're only posting about like crappy things, or you feel like you just feel down, like it's all you ever post about, you're never going to attract what you want. I think it was Lindsay Matway one day, one of the YouTube videos I was watching, she was like, that energy that you write or that goes into your caption when you're writing it is portrayed in your picture. I'm sure you guys can think of right now a post that you thought would be killer, but your energy as you were writing the caption was kind of like meh, and then you didn't get a lot of love. But sometimes the most random post that you think isn't going to do well, but like you're really hyped up on life that day, and it's like a 3-sentence thing gets like 1,000 likes. So your energy matters. And that's what I've really been focusing on. And that's what I'm trying to attract into my business, is people with the same energy that I have, the same mindset that I have, the same just drive and love for life that I now have. But I didn't always have that. So I make sure that I share it. Yeah, let's see, what else? I double everything. Haley has like the 6-figure earner checklist, and I double everything every day. It says like add 3 to 5 friends, I add 10 friends. Send out 5 invites, I send out 10 invites. Do 3 follow-ups, I do 6. I'm like over the top. I told you guys, black or white. So it says tunnel vision, and I'm doing everything now. I'm working my ass off now, so that a year from now, 2 years from now, I can take a step back and be like, wow, like being all in since day one was so worth it. Even though there's days that I've cried and like wanted to quit. And I told Candace earlier, I was actually 1-star and I just had my first diamond quit on me. And that sucks. Like, I was like, really? Because I thought she was my ride or die. But shit happens. Like this, sorry, I don't know if I can swear. Coaching is like literally a roller coaster. Maybe you guys have read the entrepreneurial roller coaster, but seriously, it's so true. So when you hit those lows, you just have to know it's just part of the journey. And you just gotta keep going. Like I remind myself that if I stop now, I'm gonna regret it. But if I keep going, and if I can do at least the bare minimum on the worst days, I'm still progressing. I'm still moving my business forward, and I'm gonna thank myself for it a year from now. I have this little planner. I need to get a bigger one, but every single day, I write the quote, "Be here a year from now," just to remind myself, because I'm sure there's gonna be a day where I'm like, "F this, I'm gonna throw in the towel and quit and whatever, go back to nannying or waitressing, whatever it is." But when I see that quote, I'm like, okay, I have to give it time, because I'm still new to this business. So many people want quick success. I do, but I know that's not the case. And when they don't get quick success, that's when people get down, and that's when they throw in the towel. That's probably why my diamond coach quit, because they're anticipating, a lot of money right away, a lot of coaches right away, but that's not how it goes. You have to put in the work. You have to show up every single day and be consistent. And if you show up every single day and be consistent and be here a year from now, talking to myself here too, it's going to be worth it. So freaking worth it. Like I was seeing everyone up on stage at Summit, and I was like, dang, that's going to be me next year. Like, it's got to be. And I have a goal to speak at Summit next year. So, I'm freaking working my butt off. But no goal is too big. Whatever you can literally dream up in your head can happen if you're willing to just dive right in and believe in yourself. Because if you guys don't believe in yourself, who else will? You're your biggest cheerleader. You're the only person you have for your entire life that's guaranteed. So you need to believe in who you are and your dreams and your vision and basically what you have to offer to the world, and believe in your message. Because you might not feel like it's unique, but I promise it is. It might take a little bit of time to find it, but I promise when you find it, you just need to share it and let it explode, and your people are going to come to you. And yeah, that's kind of all I can think of right now. Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing. I took a lot of notes, things that kind of clicked, but I had a question for you. So you said you always posted on social media prior to this because you were into fitness and stuff. So what do you tell like a new coach that you're starting off that hasn't ever been super social media forward before and hasn't been really posting anything? How do you like encourage them? Like, this is what we have to do. Like, what do you say to them to let them know, like, you have to post every day consistently a lot?
I get a lot of questions about that because they're like, a lot of people who come to me are people who've been following me since my bodybuilding days, and they're like, oh, but you started with like 5,000 followers. I have 70. I'm like, it doesn't matter. As you show up every single day and make your presence known, that following is going to grow, but it only grows from consistency, because people come and look at your page, and if, you know, your last post was from 2 weeks ago, they're gonna be like, who's this chick? And if your quality isn't, or your content isn't quality content, people make a decision in 10 seconds and they either follow you or they don't. So to build up that presence on social media, you just need to show up every day. Yeah, it's scary for them in the beginning because they're not used to it. But I like remind them that over time, it gets easier. You learn what to post. You learn what you want to talk about. People are going to start asking you questions. But you kind of, I make it sound like a good thing. I'm like, yo, you have a fresh slate. People can't scroll back and see that you used to be like 120 pounds of shredded abs, because now I feel like people expect that. But I'm like, you have a fresh start. Like, post what you want to post now. Like, make this your journey. I had a coach sign up on, what day is today? Tuesday. I had a coach sign up on Sunday who she only has she has 300 followers. They're all friends and family. She's never posted anything fitness related in her life. And she was like, do I just go for it? And I was like, yes, you just go for it. And she's posted twice every single day since she signed up. Maybe it's a quote, maybe it's something motivational, but she's just showing up and it's going to pay off. And I try to remind them that it literally, the consistency is what matters the most.
Absolutely. 300% agree. So when you first started this, what was your initial why? Like you said, you're all or nothing, which I can totally relate to. That's why I suffer from burnout sometimes, because I can't stop. So what was your initial why that like really lit that fire for you, and has it changed now, or is it the same?
There's a couple things. The first why was that I wanted something that I could take with us when we moved. Because since I knew we were going to be moving soon, I didn't want to have to start over. So I wanted to build something substantial so that when the time came, I didn't have that moment of panic and that moment of like, oh my God, I can't contribute to our finances. So that was my why, to work really hard from the beginning. And it's already, come to pass since we just moved. But my other why was that I was sick of working for other people, because I am all or nothing. So when I was working for other people, I let them take advantage of my time. I gave them all my energy, and I didn't have energy for myself anymore. And I was sick of feeling that way. I just wanted my time back. So that was my second big why.
I have one more question before it kicks us off. We have like 10 minutes. Maybe I have two. So what do you tell your coaches, your new coaches? How do you encourage them to go all in and be balls to the wall like you were, but they can't quit their job and just do it just like you did? You're like, if I quit, I'm going to freaking make this work, which is kind of where I was as well when I had to quit my job and move out of town. Like, my husband had to pick up a lot of our slack. And what do you tell your coaches who are like, well, I can't just quit, because not everyone can like make that happen. Right. So what do you tell them if they're just like, oh, I can't do that because I can't do what you did?
I remind them that like my case is the exception to the rule by far. And I'm like, as long as you can invest 10, 15 hours a week of dedicated time to your business, that's all that matters. I tell them my story about how I worked, maybe 2 to 3 hours on my business when I first started for that first month. I'm like, I worked 45 plus hours a week, and I dedicated 15 hours to my business. And it might not seem like a lot, but if those 2 or 3 hours every single day are dedicated only focused on growing your business and yourself, it's going to pay off. Because I know people are busy. I know life gets stressful, but there's a way to fit this business into your life. Listen to personal development on your way to work. I would listen to YouTube videos on my way to work because I had a 40-minute commute each way, or I'd listen to podcasts. I would read on my break, even if it was 10 minutes. I would message people if I had 5-10 minutes, because every minute makes a difference. So I just tell them, set an amount of time every day that you can be dedicated, even if it's broken up into 30-minute chunks, and do it. Like, shut off your phone. Well, you need your phone, but like, shut off distractions and just put your head down and work. because eventually your 50-hour work weeks plus Beachbody is all going to be your time if you're willing to just work a little hard right now.
And what would you tell one of your coaches that's struggling to hit Success Club? Like, what's your checklist? What do you check first, within their business, or what do you ask them first?
I check if they're posting every day. And more often than not, they're not. So I make sure they post every day. I make sure it's a variety of posts. A lot of people fall into the trap of only posting about fitness or only posting motivational quotes. A lot of people are afraid to post about the business, but post about that. And I make sure that they're reading. A lot of my coaches don't read. And you guys, it literally will make or break your business, because your business will only be as strong as your mind is. So I'll check in with my coaches. I'm like, yo, you haven't posted in a day or two, or are you reading? And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm reading. And I'm like, what are you reading? And they pause and they don't have an answer because they're not doing it. And then I'll ask, the third question I ask is like, how many people did you talk to today? And they're like, oh, I sent out like 2 thank yous. And I'm like, make it 5 tomorrow. So I just try to give them nudges, push them out of their comfort zone. People like to stay stuck there, but they need a little bit of tough love. People need that nudge to get uncomfortable. And the more they get uncomfortable, the easier it'll get for them. And I think that me hitting really high Success Club numbers every month also pushes them, because they'll message me and they'll be like, oh, but I see you're at Success Club, whatever. Like, I want to get there. And I'm like, okay, this is the game plan. Like, let's do this. Post twice a day, read whatever of this, and send out 10 thank yous today. And more often than not, they get Success Club. So.
And when you say thank you, you're like, thank you so much for the supporting my journey, or whatever, someone that's liked or commented or something on your photo or interacted with you, and you're thanking them and then asking them a question or whatever.
Yeah, mine's super easy, actually. I get right into the health and fitness, meat of it, because I'm a health and fitness coach, and that's what I want to talk about. And that's probably what people are on my page for. So I'll say, hey, whatever their name is, because people love to read their name and see their name and hear their name. So I use their name, and I'm like, thank you so much for the love on my post yesterday. The support doesn't go unnoticed, and it truly means the world, with like the praying hands and a heart and probably a smiley face with the 2 girls next to each other. And I'm like, are you on a health and fitness journey of your own? Because this opens the door to they'll either spill their entire life story to you, or they're just gonna be like, yeah, I am. And you're like, okay. So then I kind of run with the conversation from there. But that way it's directed right towards health and fitness right away, rather than kind of like beating around the bush and like being awkward.
I love it. I use that all the time. Are you on a health and fitness journey of yourself? Or does anyone have any questions before we run out of time? We have like 5 minutes left, and I know I've been asking a bunch because I actually had questions. But if you can type in the chat, or you can unmute or whatever, or I'll think of a couple more so we can run out of time. I just want to say the importance of social media and sharing and just showing up everywhere, because she found Haley in a group, like randomly. Haley was just like sharing, would you say like 2 times a week, maybe, things that weren't related to coaching. They were just her life and her sharing, and her photos were probably energetically attractive. So Olivia was like, who is this girl? And then she kept showing up and posting there. So then she was like, okay, I'm going to wait a year and then I'm going to say something to her. Like, people just come out of the woodworks. Like, you never know. And like, she probably had no idea you were even following her, because you were probably creeping on her.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I even liked her posts. I would just read them, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to like it. I don't know why.
And if she would have stopped posting or stopped showing up, you would have been like, oh, and not trusted her anymore, right? Because like that trust and consistency, like you said, builds loyalty.
Yep, and it would have been broken if she didn't show up for like a few days.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the exact same way. I had a coach I was following before I found Colleen, and she would be in and out every other day, maybe take like 3 days off. And I was like, I can't work with her because I don't trust her. Like, where is she? Like, where is she during that time? What if I need her? Tess said she loves that you said your business will only be as strong as your mind is. I think that's super important, because if we're not growing, our business can't grow. And that's just how being an entrepreneur is. We have to be constantly leveling up, right? Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to do this. I really appreciate it. I loved picking your brain and asking you questions, and I'm super excited about your success. I love your energy. Like you said, energy is everything. Energy, vulnerability, consistency. Those are the keywords I got out of this call For sure. And obviously pushing the vitals every single day. So congratulations on all that you've accomplished. How long have you been a coach, did you say?
It'll be 5 months next week.
See, that's crazy. That's insane. You just took it and you ran with it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it was great. Bye.
Bye.